I do have epilepsy because of the accident, traumatic brain injury. When initially, while I was at Spaulding, I was having seizures. Complex partial seizures is what they were, where I would lose the words I was trying to say, and I would get this sensation that something was happening, and the numbness and tingling on my right side. My TBI is on my left side, so when I would have these reactions, it would always be on my right side. So in the beginning, I wasn't able to really describe what was happening, so the doctors and nurses and stuff just passed it off as I was having anxiety or nervousness or whatever, because I was trying to still come to grips with everything that I was going through. But finally, about 6 months after my accident, at that point, they were trying to take me off of some of the anti-seizure medication, so I had my first grand mal seizure at that point. And from then on, they understood that, you know, I was having seizures because of the accident and my brain injury. When I would have a seizure, I would have headaches after that. I had wanted to be a lawyer, you know, since I was a kid. It wasn't a new thing that I was interested in. So that, again, just added another whole layer of stuff. And then trying to figure out how to control the seizures that I was having was very frustrating and aggravating, because I was put on, at one point in time, I was on 3 different anti-seizure medications and was having all the side effects that you can imagine with that. I was losing my hair at one point from it, so it just added a lot more than I really needed to deal with, trying to come to grips with what was going on. I do still have seizures. They're called complex partial seizures, but to backtrack, they are under control now, because about 8 years after my accident, I had surgery to help to control the epilepsy. That was a very long process, because I needed to go through extensive testing to make sure that I was the right candidate for it, and that they were able to properly pinpoint exactly in my brain where the seizure activity was coming from. So they were able to identify it. I did have the operation, and since then the seizures are a lot more under control than they were. I went from probably before surgery having about 12 seizures a month, where now I might have 1 or 2, and they are now definitely not as severe. It's a complex partial seizure.
The consequences of traumatic brain injury are heavily influenced by factors that existed before the injury. So, in other words, what the person brings to the table, if you will. The injury circumstances themselves, as well as what happens after the injury. Traumatic brain injury causes a wide range of problems, including difficulties with thinking ability. So attention, concentration, memory, problem solving, judgment, perceptual abilities. These are all the sorts of things that one needs to negotiate their day. In addition to the cognitive problems, physical problems. So they may be changes in sensory function, changes in motor function, weakness or coordination, changes in emotional function. So people who were not particularly emotionally expressive can become very emotionally expressive. Or you may have the opposite. Somebody who had a lot of affect or emotion becomes very flat and non-expressive from an emotional standpoint. Behavior can often change. So also described as changes in personality. So tendencies that people have may change sometimes dramatically.